Hey, book club. So today's an exciting day. We get to start a new club book, and this one is a chapter book. So we're going to be reading it for more than just a couple days. All right, but first, the lesson. So today's lesson is about how important it is to attend, which means pay attention to minor characters. So not always the main character, but also thinking about the other characters in the story and how they're experiencing the different events. Okay? So I want you to imagine that both a kindergartner and the principal, Principal Mahoney, were both given tours of Centennial. Okay? Do you think they would point out the same things? Why or why not? Think about it for a second. Now, hopefully, you're saying to yourself, no, the kindergartner would point out things that are really important to a kindergartner, right? And the principal would point out things that are really important to a principal. They have different perspectives, they have different experiences, they see the world differently. So the things that they're going to notice and that they would show to us would be very different. Okay. So our teaching point today is that minor characters can also help carry the big messages or ideas of the story. So one thing we can do as readers is we can reread or think about a scene again and think about how it looks from another character's perspective. Okay. So I want to give an example. Okay. And that's from Number the Stars. All right. So early on in the story, okay, actually the very first chapter, Anne Marie and Ellen are racing down the sidewalk of their Copenhagen streets, and they get stopped by some German soldiers, and they're both very scared. And they're scared a little bit for different reasons. You know, Anne Marie might be seeing the guns and thinking, "Oh, that's scary," and Ellen, as a person who's Jewish, might also be seeing the situation as, "Oh, these people could take my family away, could do something really bad to me." And then there's Kirsty, okay, the little sister. So Anne Marie and Ellen are all scared, and here's what Kirsty does. "And who is this?" the soldier asked, looking to Anne Marie's side. Kirsty had appeared there suddenly, scowling at everyone. "My little sister." She reached down for Kirsty's hand, but Kirsty, always stubborn, refused it and put her hands on her hips defiantly. The soldier reached down and stroked her little sister's short, tangled curls. "Stand still, Kirsty," Anne Marie ordered silently, praying that somehow the obstinate 5-year-old would receive the message. But Kirsty reached up and pushed the soldier's hand away. "Don't," she said loudly. So imagine that. Anne Marie and Ellen are all scared and are taking this super, super seriously. Kirsty puts her hands on her hips and is being all stubborn. And when the soldier touches her head, she slaps his hand away. Why did Kirsty react to the situation so differently? Take a second to think to yourself. Now, maybe you're thinking to yourself that Kirsty is just too young. She doesn't understand how dangerous the situation really is. So remember, that might kind of get us to our theme about how children grow up really quickly during war. But maybe we're adding a little bit of a twist to that theme that yes, children have to grow up really quickly in a war, but really little kids like Kirsty's age, they might still not understand how dangerous the situation really is, the war that they're in. Okay, so anytime you're reading a book, always look not only at the main character's perspective, but other minor characters as well. Okay, so let's get into our work for today. So in our assignment in Seesaw, okay, you're watching the video lesson, then you are going to read the first chapter, which is pages 1 through 9 from our new book club book. It's called Just Call Me Joe. Now, hopefully you watched the YouTube video that I posted yesterday in our lesson that was giving us some background knowledge about Ellis Island and what it was like to come to America at that time. So you're going to click this link. It'll take you to an Epic book. You may have to sign in. Let me or your teacher know if you don't know your username and password. And then you're going to read chapter 1. Okay, so read through everything. Remember, you can zoom in if it's seeming a little too small for you. Okay, and you can drag it around. And you were going to read. There you go. It's lagging on me. You're going to read, this is page 7, and then you'll stop right here. Okay, so stop at the beginning of chapter 2. So just one chapter for today. Okay. Then you'll go to our class Flipgrid page. All right. And just like we have with the beginning of every single story so far, you're going to try and describe the setting. All right. So think to yourself about these questions. You don't need to answer all of them, but I want you to respond about the setting. So what do we know about the setting so far? You could tell me where the book takes place. Just call me Joe. When in time does it take place? Or what the mood or atmosphere is. Remember, that's kind of the feeling of the story. Okay. How does it feel when you read it? How would it feel to be a character in that moment in time? Okay. So a tip, a sentence starter for yourself could be, I think this story takes place, and then fill in the blank. All right. I hope you like the first chapter of our book, and I'm excited to hear your responses. Thanks.